So, so I tried to come up with creative ways to have two people talking at once or anything like that, and I got nothing. Joe is on vacation. He couldn't. He chose hanging out with his wife more than being on a podcast with me. Go figure. Can't blame him for that. So we are solo tonight. There's so many books, guys. I thought about the canceling show, but there's so many books to talk about. It just we had to do it. We had to jump in. We had to talk about all the different books coming out. It's been so many light weeks here lately. I was like, we gotta look at them, gotta talk. I'm definitely gonna need your help if you're in the comments, if you're watching, to give me something so we can talk about some of the books coming out. But let's jump in. It'll probably be a little bit shorter show, and get into it a little bit. So of course we got cover slide. This is episode 41. It's hard to believe I've been doing this now. This is 40 episodes in, so we're definitely going for quite a little bit here, going over almost over 10 months, um, and moving right along. And these some really, so a lot of sexy girl covers that have potential. And I don't usually go in and buy some of these, but there's some definite potential here. We'll talk about some of them. So let's go ahead and jump in and look. First is the book, and this is, if those of you that watch the show, I'm not a Kate's guy. Um, But yeah, he knows how to promote his books. I know there's several stores doing variants for this called Vanish. Vanish number one. It's sort of like his crossover. I need to go through and read crossover. I need to get it out of my head. Maybe he is actually probably he is a good writer. I hate the way he promotes. I actually hate the fanboys. As a comic book person, so it's sort of that hard for me. But the story itself sounds okay. It sounds, from what I understand from the solicitation, I think this is where when he was little, he was a superhero, and he trying to remember if it's post-traumatic stress. Did he actually imagine it, or did it actually happen? Then a bunch of heroes show up when he's in his mid-20s or whatever, and it's like, "Oh, is this happening or is this real?" So Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, and J.G. Hill are doing this, or John Hill, Joe Hill. They're doing this. That they work together on they work together on Venom, and I think they're working together on Hulk. So, same team, got some fun variants. Cover A is there on your left by Stegman. The DWJ, Daniel Warren Johnson covers nice. There's also, guys, like most times when Donny Cates does a book, every one of these books has a virgin cover. You keep working your way up through the incentives, and there's even like a sketch cover for it. You do have an incentive. Ed McGuinness covers. It's okay. And then you got the Greg Capullo variant. Uh, For me, it's one of those the looks of the covers, I haven't seen the interiors, remind me so much of, I mean, it feels like just looking at old '90s Cyberforce or Spawn or anything like that. I mean, the Greg Capullo cover doesn't help, but yeah. So, who knows? Check it out. I'll probably check it out, give it a look at the store, see what's going on. Another I don't know if this is a big book or not. I know one of my local LCSs is doing an incentive for this one. Um, Starbase is doing one incentive, and this is Creepshow. This is an anthology. It seems like they're doing a lot of anthologies here lately, horror stuff. So you get cover A and a cover B here. Declan Shalvey, I like him. I mean, it's just in time for Halloween. Who doesn't like to have scary stories told to him? There is an incentive by Vance Kelly. I don't recognize that name. And then there's a blank variant as well. But I know there's at least a couple store variants. I'm not sure how many. This is the book by DC. There's just so many variants. Guys, I went with the four most popular cover artists that had the highest resale value and all those different things. This is, I think, an 8.99 book, so it's a little more pricey. There are incentives. There's, I think, a one for 150, or maybe even one for 200. Uh, yeah, James, I definitely agree. Thanks for being in here. Yeah, there's so many store variants for it. It makes it hard, for those image books. But the Harley books here, you're gonna have lots of stores have their own variants for this as well. You got the J. Scott Campbell there. You got the art germ. I really do like this art germ, and I'm not a huge art germ person, but it really works for me. And there's a virgin version of this as well, but I like the trade. Um, I like the little Batgirl in the corner, all tied up. I think this is a fun cover. Bruce Timm, you gotta respect Bruce Timm. Um, his cover here, and then of course you get an Adam Hughes. Guys, there's like 6 or 7 more different cover artists. I'm only showing you the 4 that I personally like. The 4 artists that typically these have the highest resale value. Um, so when you're thinking, but I know when Wonder Woman came out, everyone thought okay, this cover or that cover, you can find most of those Wonder Womans for half the cover cost now. There's a few here and there. They're more expensive, so be wary whenever you're talking about these anniversary specials. So, Adam Hughes is nice. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the Bruce Timm has probably the most potential. Um, but that's one I would bet on. Though the Adam Hughes also has a virgin version of it, so that usually does pretty well. And you get all the different versions of Harley up here on the top. It's a creative cover. I really do respect the cover. But Bruce Timm, because he was the artist on Harley. This is one I'm excited about, guys. This is R.L. Stine not doing Goosebumps. He wrote this for comic books, but this is Boom. He's already done a several, I think comics through Boom, but those are all Goosebump stories. But so this is his first sort of horror anthology. I'm curious to see how dark it goes. But Boom is laying out. They went and grabbed all the best cover artists. I mean, of course, they have Jenny Fristen in their back pocket that they always use. But so I love they got a Francavilla, the cover A. There's a cover B is nice too, but this is the Adam Gorman. This I think a 1 for 25. It's sort of fun. Then of course you got a Fristen. I mean, pretty much looks like her Eat the Rich cover, but you get a Fristen. I think it's a 1 for 50. And then, but man, this Barron's cover, Bajon Barron's. Definitely has a certain look and certain style. He only works for certain books, but it works for this book. Um, I love this. This is the 1 for 100, I believe. So yeah, and I think there's a one per store. I mean, quite a few different covers. I think there's 6 to 8 covers. I imagine is what I saw. And I don't know how many stores are doing store variants for it, but I will definitely look at this at the store. Probably will try to pick one up just because it looks sort of fun. Catwoman's back again. Even though Sozo's not doing the 1 for 25, she still does a great cover. I like hers better than the 1 for 25 Tulate. But if you like Sozo, it's nice to be able to pick up her covers without having to pay $50. For the stores, they're probably not quite as happy about it because they're like, oh, well, the reason we bought 50 copies of that book was so we can sell 2 1 for 25s. Um, and this decal's great. I think I might like it better than the So-So. And it Decals, I mean, he's been doing all the cover A's for Catwoman for I think almost 7, 8 issues now. But I like this decal cover, and it makes me want to go. Who's the dude in white? I haven't been reading Catwoman. That's not something I've been reading. So definitely worth checking out. I do like this Tulate cover better than the last one she did for the 1 for 25. Edge of Spider Verse number 4. Last week number 3 came out. This week number 4 is supposed to come out. I know Marvel had in July, they delayed some of their books, so I think it caused sort of a shipping type of thing, so I'm sort of surprised this is coming out, but I think they were supposed to be one every week, but there was a slight delay, I guess, between 2 and 3. Um, the cover A's are gorgeous. The B cover's not bad, and then they got design variant. It blows my mind that Marvel chose now with this series to stop doing the 1 for 25s, to stop doing the 1 for 50s. I mean, it's nice as a collector that I don't have to go chasing down, but they're letting the stores do the store exclusives now. And maybe that's a smart move on their part. They're like, we don't have to pay the artist now. They have to pay the artist. And they have to buy so many copies, and we're not giving them these 1 for 25s. Design variants okay. The design variants, guys, I have not seen too many go up in price. I mean, yes, you have the Edge of Spider-Verse 2, Spider-Gwen third printing design variant, but that's a different scenario, different character. Maybe if this character takes off, I'm not even sure what her name is. Spintress. It's written on the design variant. Uh, if she takes off, everyone's betting on Night Spider. Part of me would love for it to be one of these other ones that everyone falls in love with. I have not been reading it yet. I'm just going to wait for all five, or actually, I'm going to wait for all five, and then the Dan Slott Spider-Man book that's coming out. Some covers we like, guys. This Black Adam sort of cool. The cover art for Black Adam is really nice too. Irvin Rodriguez, but like Joe and I have said, we love the covers. We don't know what's going on. We're not reading it. This Deceased War, the Undead Gods. I have not read any copy of Deceased. I've picked up the covers before because they're gorgeous, and then I've eventually taken them to like a used bookstore because I'm like, well, I don't have the space for a book I'm not going to read. But this is freaking psycho looking Lobo. This is a Matina cover. It reminds me of this is where I wish Joe was with me because he could tell me I'm stupid. Maybe James, you can tell me I'm stupid. It reminds me of the Thrawn cover that took off, the one for 25 Thrawn cover for some reason. I think it's the blues and everything, but that's what it reminds me of. I can't remember if Matina did that one or not. I think he did, but I could be wrong. And then you have this. I think it's the one for 50. Soon come on. I can't say the name. The name's popped up a few times on DC Books. So just sort of fun, good covers. Definitely, if I can get them on the cheap, I'll get them on the cheap. More covers I sort of like. And Huckley's hit or miss for me. Uh, oh yes, James. Yeah, I'll give you the strong Venom, but I'll give you the strong Venom vibes as well. And what's up, Double O? Yep, James is out, or not James. Joe is out today, so it's just me. So, but I'm glad I got you guys in the audience helping me out. Uh, Nucleus, okay, it is a one for 25. I have not been reading any of this Axe Judgment Day. I don't know what's going on. Um, it's the Marvel's big event, but I haven't heard a lot of buzz about it. But I'm also not hanging out at the local. I hit the used stores, but not the new stores a lot of times here these days. Um, I dig this. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Marvel is doing a Spider-Man themed book right now for the Amazing Fantasy 1000. So like, or and then I think all whatever Spider-Man that you guys celebrate them just like they do Venomize and Carnage. Now they're doing Spider-Man. So this Avengers book is a great Spider-Man cover. I like it. It's fun. Uh, then you get a Shirtless Bear Fighter 2. This is Eric Powell. And he's freaking dropping a rock on Eric Powell's version of Winnie the Pooh. Because if you guys don't know the Commons, Creative Commons things, Disney doesn't own the rights to Winnie the Pooh anymore. Certain parts of the story they still own, but the initial character Pooh they don't own. So Shirtless Bearfire smashing Winnie the Pooh, he can do that. Just like why there's a Disney Winnie the Pooh horror movie, not Disney. There's a Pooh horror movie that came out. Uh, yeah, yeah. This thing sold out at Midtown quick. Um, and that's guys. That's a lot of times where I get my information on these new books when they come out. So I look at Midtown on Wednesday night, Thursday when they do the new book list. Some more covers. GI Joe. This is the one for 10. It is getting closer and closer to 300. Just keep that in mind. There's always, and I know the B covers. This is not the B cover. This is the incentive. The B covers from I think 295 on have been connecting covers. This latest B cover is actually sort of nice because it's all like the Cobra Commander things. So it's sort of a cool looking cover. But I like the John Royal. Some of his covers have been nice. GI Joe is a long haul play. Um, Joe fans are loyal, and there's always new Joe fans coming out or want to remember their past. And so there are never tons of these books available. So it's sort of if you can get the incentives and hold on to them, they're worth holding on to. This is Peach Momoko, Usagi Yojimbo. Well, once again, IDW is about to lose another IP. Stan Saki is taking Usagi back to Dark Horse. He's evidently getting his own sort of imprint built into Dark Horse. I'm not sure how they're doing that. So he's bringing Usagi back, and I think he's maybe creating an expanded universe. Who knows? But this is a Peach. This is, I think, a one for one. No, this is a one for 10, but there's also a one for 25 sketch. Ah, nice. So that's really cool to know that Larry Hama is coming back when he leaves IDW. I think last I had sort of heard, I thought it was Skybound that was trying to make the pitch for them. I don't know if that was 100% confirmed. They were going after all the Skybound was going after them and Transformers and that entire set. But it's one of those weird ones, like the shuffling that's about to happen. I've liked the new stuff that IDW's put out. It's nice, even though it's not IPs that we know. The Dark Spaces, some of these other ones they've shown are pretty cool. Um, this is Sync. You know, Joe and I are Sync fans. I have to show a Sync cover, guys. This was sold out at Midtown already. This is a gorgeous New Mutants cover. I have read off and on New Mutants this new run, but I'm no clue what's going on. But this is Sync doing magic. You have to look at it closely or turn it sideways because she's like perched on the wall and her head is off to the right. And but it's a great Sync cover in the classic sort of. And I mean, anytime Sync does New Mutants, you want to get it. Some indie covers, indie spotlights. Speaking of IDW, this is a book called Crashing. Um, Reminds me a little bit. I don't know if you read the AWA book ETER, where it was like doctors who actually had like a bottom floor where they dealt with aliens and they saved them. Crashing supposedly is you're not at this hospital. You're not supposed to help the superheroes, but this doctor really likes helping the superheroes. So she has to make the decision to save the hero at the during the day or be the bad guy at night or something like that. And that's sort of where it's going. So I will pick this up. I will look at it. I don't really recognize any of the creators or artists or writers on this. Matthew Klein, Morgan Beam, Treon Farrell. I mean, I might have read stuff by them and just not known it. I have a soft spot for MC Escher. So Ice Cream Man doing a homage to MC Escher. I will check this out. They have some great. There's like I don't understand it why this issue 32 has like four different covers. No incentives, but there's like four different covers for this issue. Every once in a while that happens with Ice Cream Man where there's like more than just an A and B cover. There's like A B C D cover for no real reason. It's hard with this book. It's pick it up. I don't know if you guys watched when I sat on the show with Pete and Renovision and Darkside and Marco, and we had to throw out good and bad and overhyped books, and Ice Cream Man was one. Marco was like, "It's so overhyped," and I'll give him that. I mean, there's some really good, but it's an anthology book. Those are hard to get really into. Rose Gallery is probably the book that I'm the only person promoting. Um, Issue one was the fanboys getting all excited about going to see. They're gonna go kill, kidnapped, or whatever the actress they thought ruined their favorite show. Then issue two is all about her side of trying to be the best action star she could be and how the producers are screwing things up. And then it all sort of comes together. And I want to see what they do with issue three. Does issue three continue the story on, or does it tell one more perspective side? Um, and we'll see. But it's worth checking out and reading, guys. If nothing else, wait for the trade. But there are no incentives for this, but it is a fun story, something that I can easily see being something potentially. Uh, Action journalism with Kate Kelly. Great covers. It's Omnipress, so never really takes off this type of stuff. But basically, it's up to the journalists to solve the world's problems, and they have to go in and the aliens are invading, and the journalists are the ones who go onto the ship to try to figure out all the different problems and save the world. Sounds like fun. This cover in the center, guys. This is one that Essential comes out so slow and so spread out that no one cares. But they go and get the hottest carver artist to do what they like to do. So Cho likes to draw naked women butt shots. And here it is. This particular image you're looking at has the black bar across it. I don't think the cover actually has the black bar. This is just how they can show it on Midtown or whatever, and not how I wanted to show it on YouTube channel or whatever. But this is Frank Cho getting to do what he likes to do. So James, you've actually tried to read the show, tried to read the book. I've been curious, like, yeah, that issue 5 was ridiculous. That I think it was 5 that Perillo did. That's the one where the like character was holding a drill into her head. And there was immediately a black and white second printing that came out for that one. That was the first essentially book that sort of caught people off guard because everyone knew about the 1 for 25 Jim Lee cover for issue 1, and then no one paid attention, and then issue 5 came out, and then no one paid attention. Then I actually think I have the Ben Oliver, which is a great, and then David Nakayama's one was good that, but they just come out so sporadically, no one cares. Uh, Berserker's still going, guys. This is issue 10. I feel like they took a break. Issue 9 had a second print. This is issue 10. This is Kevin Eastman. There's a this is the I think the one for 50 version variant of it, or maybe the one for 25. It's Berserker. There's gonna be lots of different versions of the covers. There's like 5 or 6 different covers. Uh, Kevin Eastman's he's doing so many covers now. I'm not sure he's as collectible as he once was. Um, because I think even last week he had a Midnight Suns cover. I mean, it's becoming pretty regular to find a Kevin Eastman cover, so it's not the oddity that it was. So I'm not sure how this book. I mean, who knows? I mean, Berserker's going to be a show, so everyone get the books if you want them. But they're so overprinted, it's hard to play with them too much. Some more indie covers. Archie Comics, they're doing some little horror anthology things. There's some pretty cool incentives, not incentives, sorry, exclusives floating around out there. I know Mellow Fellow, CBSI Connections. He did some great old school horror connection books. I don't think it was this one. I think his was well, it might have been this one, Chilling Adventure, or the Chillers, or whatever. But this is just a fun cover. Throw this one up there. Crystal Planet. I've shown every one of them, so I'm just gonna keep. This is not probably the best, but this is Joe Saturnini. Um, I respect the fact that he actually does it because Opus does these. Evanescence has a cover. What was it Cradle of Filth, Disturbed? They all have their own little comic books, And this one though, Joe Saturnini does the incentive, and he plays with color and paint, and they're just colorful covers. This is probably not my favorite of the ones he's done. I have no clue what's going on in the books, but I've shown every other one of his, so I figured I'd show this one. Guys, this one on the right. This is Eternus #1. There's an A, then there's an Scout does this thing where there's an unlockable cover. So if you buy 10 copies as a store, you can buy as many copies of cover B. Cover B, I think we'll see later on. I'm not If not, it's gonna be in the article. Cover B is fantastic. It's amazing. And then you have this cover. This is a metal cover. It's a one per store if the store orders 100 copies. So you know your LCS. How many LCSs? Now, but we also know Scout. And Scout does that entire okay, they're limited, but they're not quite as limited as you think. They're gonna amazingly be on the store, and they're gonna run sell. Or they're but this is a gorgeous cover. If you don't know the book Internus, this is Andy Serkis. He's wrote the story. I don't know how good of a story it is, but it is Gollum himself from Lord of the Rings writing a book. Just as Lord of the Rings is not that Gollum's in the Rings of Power show, but just as Lord of the Rings is on everyone's mind, he comes out with a book. Um, strategic timing by Scout. Um, so there is I figured there were some store variants floating around for this book. So I definitely will check it out. I want to read it. I mean, hell, I love this metal. This is a gorgeous cover. I hope there's just a regular. I hope that not only is there a metal, I would love for there to be a of this particular cover. I'd love for there to be just a one for 25 or something like that. But just keep that in mind, though. My guess is there's probably about 100 medals. Where they end up, how many stores get them, but you had to order 100 copies as a store to get this. And Scout, though, can be popular. 100 copies is hard for a lot of stores to see the value in that. So if they do get it, this is going to be a $200 book just so they can try to make their money back. So let's open in, look at some of the incentives. Like I've been trying to do, I've mixed it up a little bit how I display them now. I try to break them up by their publisher a little differently. So Boom and DC are here on the slide. This is the cover for Wind. This is the one for 25 by Jenny Frisson. Like I said, Boom has her in back pocket. She does a cover for them almost for any book that's popular, but she usually does the issue ones and usually beginnings of each arc. Boom had no books last week that had incentives, and this week they have 5 books that have incentives. Their big one being Stuff and Nightmares, but Wind is big as well. Orcs Curse is sort of surprising that well, I mean, it's a 1 for 10. I read the first one. This is, I think, the second story for the orcs. It's okay. Berserker, still a moneymaker for them. And then Firefly. Um, DC, there's some interesting books. Like we already looked at them, but nothing like ginormously amazing. Uh, Incentive variants. I'd already showed you the IDW ones. Actually, it showed you pretty much all the ones I liked. So this is a boom book that I'm showing you, even though it's not written here. We already talked about Creepshow, Radiant Black. Still going. I mean, that's all I can. I have not been reading it lately. I read up through I think issue 8 or 9, and then when they kept expanding the universe, it got harder and harder to care. So I haven't picked up any of them in a while, but I think I have like issue 2 or 3 copies of issue 1 and everything like that. Um, Marvel, Marvel has I appreciate Marvel maybe is stepping back from going incentive crazy. They're letting this, like I said earlier, I think they're letting the stores do them. If the stores want to, why should we bother? So I sort of like that. Uh, there's another Exterminators Volume 2 is coming out. Number one, it feels like I think they're just going back through making sure they can maintain ownership of all their X-Men characters. So they're just recreating their team names, doing them again. X-Men Green issue 2 is coming. I mean, there's X-Men Legends, there's X-Terminators, there's you name it. There's an X themed character story or whatever. Star Wars, guys, I didn't show it. There's a Raza cover that's okay, not as good as the past couple of ones he had, but it's still an okay cover. Um, and then some random indies, guys. Like I said, Opus has like 3 different books this week, all music themed. Right now, we're looking at the Thank You Store variant for Little Red Ronin. Um, Sort of cool cover. Another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles homage. Uh, this is Garrett Gunn and Kit Wallace book. I don't know if you paid attention too much. I saw if you follow Hive Comics on Twitter, they sort of alluded to this. Source Point Press has at New York Comic Con has a booth. Maybe Garrett Gunn's stuff might be getting a little bit of a love from Netflix. Just keep that in mind. If you know his first work, that might be something. I don't know anything. All I'm basing it off of a one tweet from Hive, not tweet, one Instagram post from Hive Comics, and they were in on the book from the get go. So they hopefully they have connections to him. And then Source Point does have a booth or a panel. So they already announced a couple of different movies. So this has slowly been in the works, but if they actually have that next connective piece, where it's a what do you call it? Whether it's Netflix or Disney Plus or anything like that's where you know, okay, it's one step closer than hey, Billy Bob Thornton's going to be the voice of the character. Um, so guys, that is the show. We made it through it. Thank you for jumping in, even though there's no Joe. He was missed, but glad you were here. I do want to show you one thing because I did hit the store. I was working hard, long week. I hit the store. This is a really cool book to track down. This is Thunderbolt's Prelude. It is a reprint of Incredible Hulk 449. It is the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. This came out about Incredible Hulk 449 came out in November of 96. This book came out has from what I've heard and seen written is May of 97. So it came out right after issue 1 or right about the same time. So of Thunderbolts. So if you want a reprint of the book, if because this is still I found it in a dollar bin. You might find them in dollar bins. There's not very many printed, um, but I'd never seen the book. I just randomly was like, "What is this book?" So I did some research after buying it, of course. But yeah, that's still a $30 book, guys, or up. So if as 449 as it gets closer to the movie, that might be something to keep your eye out on. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Tell me that you like me. Tell me that you hate me. Tell me that I effed up all the books that I was talking about. That is okay. Those of you that come and watch regularly, thank you. I will see you next time.